Hey guys, welcome back to another awesome episode of High Vibin' It. Lindsay here, your friendly neighborhood hypnotherapist, along with my co-host Kelsey Aida, who is a manifesting queen, author, coach, retreat maker, wonderful human. We're so happy to be here with you. We thought today would be super fun to do another Reddit. Do we call it trolling? Is that what we want to call it?
Well, we're not being mean, so
A
we're not
troll.
trolling,
Not a
but
troll,
we
a
are
scroll.
we are spying
We're
on
spying.
the Reddit board about law of attraction and just going through and answering people's questions on the internet because we figure if some person is asking this question, probably some of our podcast listeners have thought it. And, maybe we'll share a link with them to the answers that we want to give to their
Yes.
questions since they clearly are looking for answers. So,
We didn't do
yeah,
that last time, and I think it'd be a really good idea. Some of
I
these
think I
questions are,
tried to, but I couldn't go back and find the questions like
mm,
after we'd already published the episode. So it became too much work. But
some
yeah,
of these questions are bonkers, but we picked out some of the best ones that I feel we could really speak to, and I think we should just dive right in.
yeah, let's just
Um,
dive in.
what's the first one you want to touch on?
Just
What's
go in
calling you?
order. Just go in order.
Okay, so the first one is starting to lose, and I'm quoting here, starting to lose control over my mind with living as if. And I'll just read it. For some great time, I've been living in my head as if I have great wealth and freedom to live my life without consequence of not working. I've been able to manifest a job with a high level of freedom and autonomy, but my head is telling me more and more that I don't have to work anymore at all. And I feel so happy now that I'm free of work. Every night I go to sleep, I imagine great sums of money in my account that sustain me and my family without having to worry about the stresses of work. But I believe it is starting to negatively affect my life. Seeing as the universe has no physical means to get me this money, okay, and seeing as winning it potentially proves not to be a practical way to receive, I'm walking around every day truly believing that I'm financially free while I'm physically not. I have often spent more money than I should have, occasionally forgotten to go to and occasionally forgotten to go to work. I know these are stupid mistakes, but I'm seriously stuck in self-belief that money is here and is coming. I have to literally slap myself in the face to snap out of it and get my life together so I don't lose my job and develop financial troubles. Many skeptics would say I've lost my mind and I need to seek help, but I've put 100% faith into these works since they have worked so miraculously for me before. I just hope I'm not putting too much faith into something that has no practical means of happening or has no way of happening for another decade or so.
Okay. So basically, this person took the concept of live as if your wish is already fulfilled and just ran with that to the moon, which, it makes sense because that's what people are taught in the law of attraction space. But now it's starting to affect them negatively in their real 3D life that's happening now in the present
This
moment.
person is completely under hypnosis in their belief. They are highly suggestible. I'm just know this from reading what they're saying. They are the type of person that stage hypnotists will pick out of the crowd because they are so suggestible. It can be a really good thing, but in the case where it starts to confuse your reality or have a negative impact, that's when you really want to examine it. I would immediately take them out of hypnosis. If
Right.
I saw this person, I'd be like, hey, let's chat.
Yeah. So if this person asked me for advice of what to do, which I'm going to say that they did since they asked the whole internet sphere on Reddit, I would say that your approach just isn't working. It's not working anymore. What once helped to give you some momentum in the right direction is now like ruining your actual 3D present physical experience. So, I mean, you can still hold the belief and know that it's coming. And also, in the meantime, live in your reality and not live in a delusion. And you can also do what it takes to sustain you financially now. Like, it doesn't have to be either or. Like, you don't have to
Yeah.
quit your job just because you believe you're going to manifest money. You can still do
Yeah.
what you're doing and manifest the finances at the same time. So I think this is just about having one foot in reality and one foot in the future and merging those together instead of just propelling yourself into the future when your life hasn't caught up with you yet. because the whole acting as if, you don't have to do that all day every day. You can literally spend 20 minutes in hypnosis or visualization, let go of your current reality, and then act as if, or imagine
Yeah.
as if, or let go of all your resistance. But this person's doing it so much to the point of they're like not showing up to their job, which is kind of like a self not
I mean,
sacrifice. What's the word that I'm looking for?
it's a detriment, self
No.
detrimental.
Sabotage. Sabotage.
Yep. It's funny because, we always say, to if you just rely on the universe, they say, like, obviously let go and allow, but if you're only relying on that, you're going to have problems. And if you're only relying on machine, robotic, like, action steps, same thing. You're probably
Mhm.
not going to get where you're going. The sweet spot with manifesting is finding that beautiful harmony between allowing and connecting to the universe and the power that you have, and also taking inspired action as well. I
Right.
just don't think you can have one without the other, and that's where we run into trouble. um
The action piece is so
yeah.
like not talked about in the law of attraction space because that's like the unsexy part to most people. Like everyone wants to
Yeah.
believe, oh, I'll just think it into existence and it's going to show up on my doorstep. It's like, that's probably not how it's going to happen, especially when
Yeah.
it comes to money manifestation, especially in my experience, which I guess is really the only thing I can speak from, is like you're going to get that $1 million idea, or you're
Right.
gonna be inspired to create this
Exactly.
new invention, and that's how the money's gonna come. Like it will
Those
come
aha moments.
through you and your action and the universe and the co-creative powers that be. Like it's not just gonna fall from the sky.
Yeah. What will fall from
Most
the sky
times.
are opportunities and
Hmm.
doors being open that if you weren't an energetic match, you would never have noticed them before. But now that you are, you see things in a different way and can take that inspired action. But I do want to point out, check out how powerful this girl's mind is. She can just tell herself, and she believes it to the point where she forgets to go to work. Like, I think we all have that power within us. Now, it is a power. You just have to wield it in a way that works for you. We all have that ability. You just have to also incorporate the other powers that we have, which are taking action as well, and using your abilities to create experiences and opportunities. You
And there's
must.
that fine line of like affirming something to be true and then forgetting that it's like not done yet.
Mm.
So I know I've done this a bunch, like with books that I'm writing. I like already think it through in my head and I like imagine that it's like done. And then my body like actually thinks that it's done, but like I haven't written the book yet. So I still just sit down and write it. Like I still have to do the work to catch up to the vision.
Yeah.
Like even though I think it's done and some part of me knows that it's done and it's happening and on an energetic level like it's materialized, on a 3D level I'm going to have to take part in materializing it. So I
Yes.
can't forget that just because I know that it's true.
There's an energetic manifestation and a physical manifestation. She's got the energetic one down. Like, that's she's got it in the bag. Now you just have to take the steps, the action steps.
And also
Um,
I feel like if it is a how do you know it's a she? Are you just guessing?
I'm guessing. I
Oh, okay.
mean, the name is. Oh no, it's a guy. Check out. Can I? Should I say the name? It's funny,
I mean,
Mister
it's online, so
Mister Alcoholicson.
oh, great. Well, the other thing that Mr. Alcoholicson could
Mm-hmm.
do to help himself in this situation is I feel like he's being a little bit judgy of like how it can and can't come. He's like, "Oh, if it comes to me
Right.
in a winning way, then that's not really sustainable and I don't want it to come to me through a job because I don't want to have a job." And
Well,
it's
and this
like putting all
sentence
these rules and limitations on the
that I
how.
actually had to stop reading because I was like, ooh, seeing as the universe has no physical means to get me this money, how the hell do you know?
Right.
What are you putting that on the universe for? And if you really believe that, then what can you be doing to help the universe bring it to you? Um, but I just think that yeah, too many limits here. Winning it potentially proves not to be a practical way to receive. Yeah, and the problem we've talked about before with winning it, Kelsey, if you remember, is that if you're not an energetic match to that level of wealth, it's going to leave again. So that's why we need to do the work to make sure we're in the spot to be able to receive what we want and be in the position to appreciate it and handle it in the way that we would like to. You know what I mean?
Right.
Versus just
Yeah.
letting it drop in your lap and then you're not a match to it. So guess where it's going to go? You're going to spend it and it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be gone and you're going to be exactly where you are because you're not a match. Sounds like he's just
Mm-hmm.
not a match, but he's trying to like force in his mind is very very much on board with
Isn't that what
um
we all do?
right.
Well, the beauty of the manifesting journey when you get deep into it is that it's two parts. You're not just creating something in your life, some certain
Yeah.
circumstance or outcome. You are becoming a higher elevated version of you. And
Yes.
part of the reason why you want that thing is because you want to be the person who can sustainably hold space for that thing, right? So you want this perfect partnership because you want to be the perfect partner. You
Yep.
want this $1 million because you want to be able to hold that much space and be like the sacred. Um, I always call wealthy people like channeler of money, right? Because they don't hold
Mhm.
on to it. They channel it into different
Yeah.
things and make it
They're a
grow and spend
conduit.
it and share it. Yeah. So they're a conduit. So you becoming who you need to be in order to have the manifestation is really like the juicier part of the manifestation, right? It's the healing journey that takes you from where you are to who you want to be, and then as like an awesome side effect you get to experience that thing that you've been wanting also.
Mhm.
So it satisfies like your human self and your soul self.
Yes. I love it.
Next question.
Yes, yes. The next question. I've never met anybody that forgot to go to work because they believed so hard that they had money already.
I love it.
That's a first for me. Interesting. Anyway, okay. Moving on. Next question. Why do I keep seeing the same name everywhere? So me and this guy were talking for a while, and from the moment this started, I began to see his name everywhere. At first, it was small and infrequent, I think they want to say, but lately I feel like I'm almost surrounded by his name. I hear it on the radio, I see it scrolling through comments, I look up at my television in exactly the right moment and notice it in the credits. I feel like I'm going insane. I'm sorry to read it like that. It's just that that's not how. Anyway, he told me recently that he doesn't think we're going to work out since, which is fine, what will be, will be. The thing is, I'm just so confused as to why I felt his name was following me, and I'm still seeing it since things ended, maybe even more so than before. Has this happened to anyone else? I'm confused about what it means and if I should ignore it. Oh, yeesh. Okay.
Okay.
You want to start?
Yes. So first of all, it's gonna mean whatever you make it mean.
Okay, first of all, if this user is, we plan on telling everybody that we're answering their question. So if you're listening, the user that submitted this question is Slut or Spencer Reed. And now you may continue, Kelsey.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So your question is very common, which is why I wanted to include it on this podcast. A lot of people ask me this through social media or clients or whatever, and they'd be like,
Yep.
what does it mean? I'm seeing this person's name everywhere. And honestly, it just means that like you're thinking about them, and that's how the law of attraction works. Like if I think about the number 4 enough of the day, it's going to show up everywhere. And not only is it going to show up, but you're just going to see it and notice it more because that's what your subconscious mind is looking for. What's
Your
that term?
reality your reality gives you what you're focused on.
What's that term in psychology that they call that?
What they call what?
When you notice something that's in your like mind and then you see it everywhere and you can't stop seeing it. There's a word for it. But anyway, like this happened to me when I got glasses in the second grade. And I was like, I had no idea so many people wore glasses. Because as soon as I got
Right.
glasses, I noticed everybody who had them. Right. So to me, this is just a classic. You're thinking of this person, so you're seeing their name everywhere. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're supposed to be with them. It doesn't mean you should chase them. It doesn't mean it's a sign from the universe. Like it literally just means you're noticing it because you're thinking about it
That's where
a
your
lot.
focus is. Yeah.
Right.
When I wanted a new car and I was thinking about what color to get, I knew what color I wanted, but I was like second guessing, and thinking about it. And I saw so many cars of the same color, same kind of car. Okay. It's just where your mind's going. Your reality will give you what you're focused on. So
Yeah.
It's classic. It happens all the time. It's
Yeah, I
really
don't think
common.
she needs to read into it too much.
Could be a he. It
It's just
could be.
life. He, she, they.
What can be men and women, Kelsey? This is 2021.
You're right. I won't discriminate.
Just say they. Let's just give up all the pronouns. They. Okay.
Who's
Yeah.
next? Oh,
Who's
you
next?
guys, and if
That was a
you're
classic one.
listening, reach out to us on social media if you resonate with these questions. I'm at Kelsey Aida. Lindsay is at Lindsay Robinson, or join our Patreon so you can comment on this episode directly because we want to
Mm-hmm.
hear if you guys are vibing with these questions and
Oh,
answers.
yes. And hopefully you are. Okay, here we go. Next question is from Arfie807. What do you do when you doubt? I like I like to think I've been pretty good at manifesting. I've manifested love, modest amounts of money, time freedom, adventures, a wonderful pet. But what do you do when you start to doubt, particularly around financial matters? This doesn't overwhelm me, but it does creep in sometimes. Okay, so first of all, worry about financial matters is probably one of the most common things in manifesting anyway, so it's gonna happen. What do you do when you doubt, Kels?
Well, I just embrace doubt as a part of the human experience, and
Yep.
I don't make it mean anything more than that. So if I'm doubting, then that's normal. It's human. It happens to everybody. It doesn't have to mean that it's not going to happen. It doesn't have to mean that I should be worried about it. Like where people go wrong with doubt is that they make it mean bad things. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, if I'm doubting that this will happen, then that means it's probably not going to happen, you know?
Yeah. Or my doubt is going to create negative momentum
Right.
or whatever. Yeah.
Right. But if we just like witnessed the doubt with compassion and perspective, then it's not an issue anymore. It's just like, oh, I'm noticing that a part of me is having doubt. And then
It
you
doesn't
can
have to be a
explore
big
it.
deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you make it a big deal. One of
Right.
my go to moves when I doubt, because girl, Lindsay's got some doubt sometimes. For sure. What I do, I just distract yourself, just realize that that's a part of you, explore it if you need to, but it could just be that human part of you that's like, hold on, we don't know if we're ready for this. What happens if it doesn't happen? You got to be prepared, the backup plan version of you. And just go go enjoy a walk in nature, go put your face in the sun, go read a book, go play with your kids or your pet or something, go you write a gratitude list. That's one of my favorite because it's really the reversal. If you're writing a gratitude list of everything that you have, and you just did by listing everything that you've manifested, kudos, by the way. Remind yourself that those are things that you've done, and you will continue to do it because that's just what we came here to do. We came here to create. We came here to adjust what doesn't work for us and really meld reality to what we want. So that's why you're here. Congrats. And you're already doing it. So just remind yourself that you're already doing it and you'll continue to do it and go eat a yummy snack.
Yeah. It's the whole enjoy the wait, right?
Yeah.
But what also helps me too when I notice that I'm doubting is I just like remember all the other times that I doubted like for nothing and it
And
all
you
worked
didn't
out.
need to. Right.
Right. Like, oh, remember that one time I really didn't think it would happen, then bam, it happened. And then you just remember all these times where everything worked out great, and then you just don't worry and you don't doubt, and then you're like, ah, okay, it's gonna be
Now,
great.
I said this to someone recently. I can't remember who. It was a client, but I don't remember. And I said something to the effect of, when I doubt, it's because I'm afraid the universe is going to leave me high and dry. I'm afraid that I'm
Hmm.
going to set myself up to just be left in the middle of the ocean with no, it's metaphorically speaking. But then I remember I've never been left high and dry by the universe. I've always been taken care of one way or another. And the person responded to me with, yeah, except, I do feel like the universe has left me high and dry before.
Right.
And what I would love to say about that is, but did it though? Like, probably not. It's just how we perceive the events in our lives. We don't recognize that it could possibly be leading us to something better or avoiding something that we didn't really want in the beginning anyway. We thought we did. You know what I mean?
Well, and in that instance, that might not be the truth of the universe, but it's just that person's truth in that
Exactly.
moment that they feel that they've been left high and dry. So that exercise that
Exactly.
I just gave probably won't be helpful for that person. It's probably
Hmm.
helpful for people like me who in this moment
Who
don't feel
trust
like
that?
that,
Yeah.
who can look back on their timeline and see how things did work out. But If you're not there, you're not there, and that's cool. And like, if
That's where the yummy
if
snacks come in, girl.
yeah,
Go distract
if
yourself.
you're having doubts, I would just invite you to get curious about the part of you that doubts, and maybe ask like how that part is trying to serve you, you know? Cuz doubt is really like a protection mechanism from feeling disappointed.
Mhm.
If you're doubting, it's probably because you don't want to set yourself up for potential disappointment, which just
Yeah.
means that the part of you that doubts is loves you so much and doesn't want you to feel disappointed. So, can you at least love that part of you for that?
Yeah.
And then when it's doubting, just know, oh, that's just that part of me loving me. I don't have to listen, but I can at
Yeah.
least send love back and thank it for its good intentions.
And we recently had a guest, Sarah Ashley Wheeler, who did something with us in the episode that was just so cute and so cool. And also is something that we both, Kelsey and I, do with our clients, which is communicate with the part of you. Communicate with that aspect. So if you have a doubt, what would you want to say to that doubt? What would you want to say to that part of you that doubts? What would you like to believe? What do you think they want to say to you? And just get that understanding. Find some common ground, and it can be a lot easier and feel a lot lighter to not let it affect you as much, because I would
Yeah.
say the biggest impact we have from our emotions, especially negative ones, is just not understanding where they're coming from and not
Mhm.
taking the time to look. you know
Yeah, if
so
you improve your relationship with the part of you that doubts, it's like game over. The doubt won't affect
mhm.
you negatively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that
And that's
approach.
true for everything. That's true for
Right.
fear, that's true for, I don't know, everything needs a process, everything heals in its own time, but it can definitely expedite that for sure.
Yes, that's what we're here
Okay.
for. Expediting healing, expediting results. Doesn't have to take you 5 years. Sometimes you can just have that one breakthrough in a session and it's just like boom, 2 months later, there it is. It's happening. You're happening.
Mhm. Well, and I just think about the biggest thing I manifested recently, which was my new, income bracket. And when it happened, I've been wanting this for since I started my business. Let's just be honest. When it happened, I was like, hold on, am I ready? What? What's happening? Because it felt it was happening so fast, but really it was, what did they say? The overnight success took 5 years in the making or something like that.
Right.
It's never overnight, but when it does, when you do see it start to happen, even that can trigger something of fear of just like, hold on, is it happening, is this really, am I ready for this, that kind of thing. So you're always going to have emotions to process. It's just knowing where they're coming from, and as we said, communicate with it and get get moving into the better place, into the more positive space. You ready for the next one?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, next one. We're just blazing through these, by the way.
That's what we do.
uh that's what we do. Okay, is it well, I want to say, is it just my imagination? But the sentence is just my imagination. From Fresh Start TO. Fresh Start 2. What, if anything, is the difference between visualization and mere daydreaming? I like this one. What if I'm bored one day and start to daydream about a beautiful woman, or opening my own business, or living in Monaco, or hiking the mountains, or whatever? Where does daydreaming end and visualization begin? Can I go? Can I go? I gotta handle this.
Yeah, I was waiting
Okay.
for you to go.
So it doesn't really. I would definitely say that daydreaming is in that space of, you're kind of here, but you're kind of not here. That's why they call it daydreaming. That's why they don't just call it, I'm thinking about this. They call it daydreaming because you're kind of not there. You're staring into space and you're just kind of somewhere else, right? Um, so they're basically the same thing. Visualization, I would say it goes, daydreaming is probably the lightest state of trance. Visualization is probably right in there, and then meditation, and then hypnosis. I would say that's a good depth indicator. So if you're daydreaming, you're still entering a state of trance and also visualizing what you want. So you are creating momentum. There is not really a space for it to end and begin. If you want to take it deeper, that's when you would explore those other modalities, but you're pretty much good to go if you're just daydreaming. Um, Esther and Abraham Hicks talk about 17 seconds of pure focus, which is really just take 17 seconds and daydream your way into feeling that emotional attachment to whatever it is you want. And we always say emotion is a deeper way of feeling it. So if you're daydreaming and you have an emotional response, even better. You're doing it. You're already doing it. So the short answer is really, I don't think there is a difference. What do you have to say, Kels?
Yeah, I think they're basically like sisters, the two of them,
Mm-hmm.
but they just have like different names. So I would say visualization, by definition, the way that we use it in the manifesting space is like intentionally
Yeah.
daydreaming or like intentionally going into
And
a
you
space
usually
where
have
you
your eyes
visualize.
closed. Yeah. And you're
Yeah,
in a
and
space.
daydreaming is like very similar, except maybe it just happens on accident or you're zoning out, or yeah, like your eyes are still open. But to me, it's like tomato, tomato, basically the
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
both beneficial, I would say.
So keep daydreaming, you daydreamers.
Oh, yeah.
Do you daydream? I don't really daydream anymore.
Do I daydream?
I don't remember the last time I
Like
like daydreamed.
mindlessly, but I do like dream a lot about different things. But usually it gets triggered by something like an image. Like if I'm scrolling on Pinterest and I see like this pretty house, I'm like, ooh, and I like imagine myself in the house and I like see my life
Yeah.
there and that type of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. I used to daydream all the time. Since I became a hypnotherapist, I guess I just got more intentional, maybe. Or maybe because it's daydreaming, I just don't notice it. Maybe I'm just doing it all the time. No idea. I'm just like, just always out in trance. All right. Next question from Kendall599. We are answering your question, Kendall. How can you manifest something while also trying to let it go? This one's intriguing. I'm new to manifesting and I'm still trying to figure out a method to use. People always say you need to let go of the attachment, but how can you do so while constantly trying to manifest it? If I write down, visualize, and act as though I already have my desire, how can I ever let go of my attachment to it? I like this question. So much to say. You go first.
Oh, I thought you were going to go first
Oh,
since
do
you
you
have
want
so
me to
much
go
to say.
first? I
Yeah,
mean,
you
I
go.
can. Okay. So it's really not about this is what I'm trying to like say it in English. So, yes, you want to have a level of detachment. You want to set the intention, declare it however you declare it, whether it's through visualization, acting as though, journaling, whatever, all the things you said. And then you want to give the work to the universe to figure it out for you. And like we said before, the work includes presenting you with ideas, showing you opportunities, allowing you to think in a different way, putting things in front of you, signs, whatever, that let you know that you're on the right path. But it doesn't mean set it and forget it. It also doesn't mean obsess over it until it just goes away. We've talked about this again earlier in the episode, where you have to find that sweet spot between practical application and trust. Okay, so you know that it's happening in the unseen. What can I do in the physical world to bring it faster? Um, and your attachment to it, unfortunately, the more that you are attached to it is probably in most cases going to slow you down in manifesting it. So that's when that handy dandy distraction comes in. If you guys aren't listening to Abraham Hicks, you definitely need to be. It's the easiest way that I've found to distill information and to get it out there in a practical way. It's very down to earth, pun intended, I guess.
Mhm.
It's very ironically down to earth and easy to understand for beginners, especially. So I definitely think that the attachment is not the issue. It's the over attachment that could potentially happen if you do obsess over it and if you do constantly work at it with fear, because if you trust and you let it go, there's a very little amount of fear and worry. But if you're worried and fearful that it might not happen, you're going to want to keep doing things like journaling and meditation, but it's all coming from the wrong place. So you want to have, I don't know, you want to have that balance. It's something that's definitely needed to be practiced. I'm not an expert at it. I think we all are continually working at it, but it does get easier. You do get better at doing it, I think. What do you got to say, Kels?
Yeah, so I think that this is a really normal problem to have because we want what we want. And I think people confuse letting it go with like trying to unwant something,
Yeah, or
which
not
I
care.
don't
Yeah.
recommend. So you cannot unwant what you want. You can't unneed what you need. So knowing that information as truths of being a person, then the question is, okay, I want to hold on to this desire. I want to work towards making it happen. I owe it to myself to go in this direction. But how can we do it in a way where it's not so forceful or
Yeah.
pushy or anxious or desperate? It's about releasing that tinge of like too muchness to your approach of the desire. So it's not that you have to let go of the desire and stop asking or stop wanting or stop daydreaming. It's more so like, I guess when my clients get really stuck and they feel like they can't quote unquote let go, I do like some questioning with them because it's a good opportunity for understanding yourself better, which usually leads to self compassion, which leads to releasing resistance, which is letting go. So I would ask something like, um, why does it need to happen? Right. So if you're like super attached to an outcome, like why does that have to be the outcome?
Mhm.
What bad thing do you think will happen if that's not the outcome? So that'll lead you to understand like maybe what you're trying to avoid potentially. And then I would ask like, if that doesn't happen, what bad thing does that mean about you?
Right.
So let's take a practical example. So, for example, if I want to be in a relationship, but it's not happening, right? If I want to manifest my soulmate and I'm super attached to that outcome, right? Because I need it, I want it, it's gonna be the best thing ever, and it's not coming. So then I make it mean that I'm not worthy or nobody wants me or I'm unlovable. Those are really the things that you're attached to not feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not so much that you need that outcome and you need it now or you're going to die. It's more so like the underlying motivators for the desire, which are totally valid and make a lot of sense. So, if this person was my client, I would guide them through a lot of those questions, get to know themselves deeper, to release resistance, to have compassion and understanding. And then from there, you can do what it takes to heal those wounded parts of you. And then you can also still want it and it's still going to come, but you don't have to be like with this energy of intensity of like,
Yeah.
I'm so attached to it happening the way that I
Yeah.
need it to happen, you know?
It is important. It bears repeating to say once you declare it and set the intention, you can't unwanted it. You can't trick the universe into thinking that, oh, well, since she's not working for it every day, she must not really want it. No, no, we know. The universe knows, your soul knows, your higher being knows. And it's, both of those things, including you, are affecting the energy of bringing it to you faster. So even if you don't journal one day, it's still happening, even as long as you feel good about it. So whatever you can do to remember that manifestation is fun, and remember that you're supposed to feel really good doing it, and the emotions that you want to bring in with that manifestation. How can I create that now? We talk about this again all the time. Y'all are new to the podcast. You've landed well. Listen to all of our episodes because we just talk about such great stuff. But what are the emotions I want to attract, and where can I find those in my life today? Where can I get more of that now so that I feel really good about my desires and really good about manifesting? So I like that you said at the beginning. I want to repeat it because it is that important. No one's forgotten what you want, even if you're not working for it every day, even if you're not obsessing over it every minute of the day. It's probably better that you don't. Things are happening in the background, in the unseen, in your favor.
And
And
a note on letting go in general, when it comes to letting go of anything, if you haven't let go of something, it's because there's a part of you that believes that you're better off holding on to it. So, usually, if you can't let go of your attachment to an outcome, it's because you believe that if you hold on to the attachment with all your might, that you'll have control over making it happen, right? Or that that's somehow helping the
yeah.
situation. A part of you like is truly convinced that that's that.
Hmm.
So, yeah, just keep that in mind. I remember this one time, it was actually my BetterHelp therapist when she was helping me through something a while back. And BetterHelp is one of our sponsors. If you guys haven't heard of them yet, they're
Shout out.
awesome. She asked me because I wasn't like letting go of this person that like had already let go of me. So I was in a horrible relationship. It ended. He was gone, whatever, but I couldn't let go. Like I could not. And she said, okay, for homework, I want you to write down the pros and cons of letting this go. Okay.
Yep.
And I was like, well, all right. And as soon as I saw it on paper, why I was holding on, it made so much more sense. And then I actually could let go because I was holding on to this idea and to him because that was like my way of still being connected with him.
Mhm.
right? So when I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe I could find a beneficial way to connect, or maybe I don't need to connect anymore, or whatever it is. It just like doing that type of self inquiry is so freedom inducing,
Yeah.
because that type of shadow work, just bringing things into your consciousness, is like, pew, now you don't have to be a slave to the attachment that you had before.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great idea. Pros and cons.
Pros
I
and
love a
cons of
list.
letting go. Hmm.
This girl loves a list, and it works so well.
Hey there. We hope you're enjoying this episode so far, but if you want to listen to the whole thing, we're going to invite you over to our podcast. Either search for High Vibing It on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you guys listen to podcasts, or even better, if you want to watch the extended video version of this episode that's even longer than the actual podcast itself, head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/highvibe. Lindsay, tell them what's awesome about the Patreon.
Patreon is where we have all of our extended episodes. As Kelsey said, we have it on video so you can actually see the things that we're talking about. Sometimes we have visual visual aids, and it's nice to know what we're talking about. We also have hangouts that we do sometimes that are exclusive to Patreon people. And you can get started with all of this and bonus content and everything that we have only for the Patreon people for as little as $3. I think it's $3.33 a month, and that's it. And you guys can get all the benefits and all access to everything that we put in there. Really
Yeah,
cool.
it's really cool, really fun, super easy to join. And you guys don't even have to do that to finish this episode. If you're like, screw it, I don't want to pay any money, I just want to hear the rest of this episode, go to our podcast, High Vibin' It, search for it wherever you listen. It's totally free. Either way, enjoy the rest of the show wherever you choose to enjoy it. And we will see you guys next week because we do a new one every week. Adios.
Bye.